Hive cluster is under attack.
For the swarm.
Hey there, StarCraft fans! It's Falcon Paladin coming at ya with, guess what? More Brood War, but hey, a ZVZ where both Zerg players get into Hive tech. Can you believe it? Got this replay from RJB like 5 seconds ago, and I said I need to cast this dude right now. So it is 12:30 in the morning, and I am casting a ZVZ on Dominator. Top side, it is our purple Zerg, it is a Woossak, and on the right side, we've got Action. So, Woossak is apparently an amateur player who plays Zerg that RJB is familiar with, and this is a Smurf name of his, and Action is an incredible Zerg player. So we will have to see how Woossak gets Action to the late game here on Dominator in a ZVZ, man. I do not cast many ZVZs because they all end the same. They end before 7 minutes. We've got Mutalisk versus Mutalisk and Scourge. We've got maybe Mutalisk versus Hydralisk, and the Mutalisk player usually wins, and that's it. No fun. But this is going to be amazing and interesting, and I am super, super hyped to cast it. So, we've got ourselves a 9 pool here from Woossak against what looks like an overpool, maybe? There's the Overlord, and oh, 2 more drones. It's going to be a hatch first against a 9 pool here with gas. So, Speedlings are in your future here, Action. How are you going to hold this off, dude? I think you're going to have to pull the drones, or maybe this Overlord will not find you in time for the Zerglings to get up and pound your hatchery to death with their little claws. There we go. Pool's done. 6 lings on the way here for Woossak. Is he going to pull off gas once he has 100 gas? There we go, metabolic boost. And are we continuing? Oh, continuing to get gas here. So we've got Speedlings into what looks like a lair and maybe a spire here on 1 base here from Woossak. And this build would be comfortable in TVZ and PVZ, but a little bit uncomfortable here in ZVZ. Spawning pool almost done. The Overlord has scouted and does not see any evidence of Zerg down in the bottom left there. So these lings are beelining it to the natural base of Action. And all right, here we go. See? Can you save the hatch? Do you need to cancel it? Nope. Action says no. We're going to pull the drones. Metabolic boost on the way from Action, but hey, it's going to be late. Lings against drones here. Hatchery at 200 hit points. Nope. We cannot save it. Bam. Hatch down. Speedlings being killed, but running away because they have speed, and Action's lings do not. So, we've got 10 drones for Action and 9 drones here for the lair-making Woossak. Like I said, lair on 1 base, and then a spire. Look, 200 gas just when the lair finishes. Huh, it's almost like he knew how much gas he would have when the lair finished. It's almost like he has done this before. All right, man, spire coming up at 3 minutes and 50 seconds, retaking his own natural. Here is Action. And this Overlord scouts and does see the spire. So that is a saving grace here from Action. He knows when to make spore colonies. He knows when to make his own spire and maybe some Hydralisks. What is your plan here, Action? You are super, super in danger here because that spire is going to make some Mutalisks. And if you don't have any anti-air, you are deader than dead. I do like ZVZ because of these little Zergling walls that the players make. And the reason they do this is because you can't get surrounded. So a smaller group of Zerglings can hold off a larger group of Zerglings. And with a little bit of micro, you can be A-okay. Macro hatch here inside the main hatch for larva. Oh my goodness. And an evolution chamber for spores. This overlord says, hey look, nice Zergling wall. I've got one too. Maybe we can be friends later. Second hatch poppin'. Bam. There it is. And this overlord says, okay, so an evolution chamber and creep. So you're not going to make your own spire, and you're not going to make a hydralisk den, at least not now. Just droning and then defending with spores. So we will have to see what the reaction here is from Woossak, maybe taking a natural base. What a crazy idea in a ZVZ. 2 spores in the main, 1 spore inside the natural base. But I think Mutalisks can get right here and take down these drones without incurring the wrath of this spore here. So, alright, so we're hunting overlords. Nice supply block here. And action says, nope, I knew that would happen, so I made an overlord, so I'm not supply blocked. Aha! Take that. This Ling says, alright, I scouted the natural base as long as I could. Blah. Lair getting started up at 6 minutes here from action. And this, again, is one heck of a crazy ZVZ. Absolutely insane stuff. I don't know. I mean, I was told both players get to Hive. So this isn't going to end here in 7 minutes. It's not going to end in 10 minutes. It's not going to end at 12 minutes. And I have cast some ZVZs in the past where it's like in control against kind of a lesser European Zerg player. And yeah, I mean, it's like 15 or 20 minutes, but it's Mutalisks. And it's Muta versus Muta. And it kind of should have ended sooner than it actually did and kind of gets dragged out by the losing Zerg player. And it's not very fun. It's just the normal stuff we see, just kind of dragged and lengthened. So I hope we get something more interesting here. RJB was crazy excited about it. And I snipe on that little Zergling there. Doesn't get to see the not a macro hatch. That's an expansion. Again, it's 12:30 a.m. Falcon is tired. Falcon's had a long day. But Falcon is here ready to rock. Spire up. Another spore happening. 3 spores inside the main base. Better safe than sorry. I do find it interesting that the one matchup where, you know, you may be more likely to see spores than any other is ZVZ. Like, they really take Mutalisks more seriously than they take Corsairs, or than they take things like battle cruisers or wraiths or something, or dropships. You know what I mean? It's just an interesting thing to think about. Why ZVZ we believe in spores more than in other matchups. Yeah, triple spore here at the natural base too. So it's 18 to 14 workers. Better worker count, because guess who hasn't had to make a bunch of spores? The guy that made Mutalisks first. So he's got 8 of them. He's getting a Carapace upgrade for his Mutas. The Spire for action is nowhere done. He is going to be losing the Muta battle. I don't know what he does. I mean, one way to deal with a Muta battle that you're losing is to get Defilers and plague the enemy Mutalisk group. We have seen on this channel incredible long ZVZs featuring big Mutalisk groups. We've got Devourers in the mix too. We've got Defilers throwing down Plague. There's one game in particular that I remember, Lenok versus Castro, that just had these massive Mutalisk battles over and over and over again. It was one of the best ZVZs I've ever seen. If you want to link to that one, let me know. And then there's always the very famous SC Pro versus Gambler ZVZ. 2 amateur players, pretty high level, but we get Lurkers, we get Ultras, we get Mutas, we get all sorts of crazy stuff in that one. So if you want a link to that, let me know. Speedlings do run in, and just kind of poking in here from Woossak, the Lings of Action, trying to get something done, but I mean, the Mutas are here, and there's a sunken, so like, good luck. Both players are all, Well, I guess we could maybe pick a little bit at these units from action, but there's more, so he falls back. Genius. Genius play. So we are in Muta versus Muta engagement now. That Carapace upgrade for Woossak is going to be huge. The fact that he has a second base here is also good. He lost an Overlord somewhere. These guys did manage to kill an Overlord, but they are outnumbered mightily by the 2 separate groups of Mutas here. He's hunting for the enemy Mutas. Where are they? He finds them. Oh, I don't know if he did. Did he? I think he's caught a glimpse of them. He did. And he's like, I don't have any spores in my main. The only way to deal with mutas is with mutas. So going after the guys on gas. Was that 2? I think that was 1 drone that died, but you're kind of taking extra hits. Not going to happen. Ling jumping into the natural base of Woossak. Takedown. Nicely done. The sunken dies. And then a couple Lings die here too from Woossak, but the mutas chase them away. Couple drones dead there as well. 18 to 17 workers, and I think action is evened this game up with a little bit of muta harass, with a little bit of a Ling attack here in the natural base too. Woossak is now down actually 23 to 17 workers. Action has the better resume, has more experience, is the better ZVZ player, and probably should win this game. But it's going to get crazy before we get to that point, and who knows? Who knows who's going to pull it out? I wouldn't put money on action winning this thing. It's a ZVZ that's going to get past the 15-minute mark, and we're going to see HIVE tech. So how much practice do you really have in HIVE tech ZVZ? I know these guys practice in StarCraft houses like 18 hours a day, and they don't do anything else. I get that. But seriously, how many hours do they spend practicing super-duper late-game ZVZ? It's not something you ever see. You're never going to see it on ladder. You're never going to see it in a professional tournament situation. So why practice it? I imagine sometimes they do. I imagine sometimes they theory craft some stuff of how to deal with a ZVZ that gets into HIVE tech. But man, Scourge connections. I don't know that Woossak cares. He's eating those Scourge connections, and maybe he shouldn't be. Yo, he's got a giant muta group, and plus he's got the Carapace upgrade, which helps immensely. There are 10 mutas here, but some of them are extremely injured for action. Can't be happy about that. Maybe thinking about getting a third base. Doesn't have the money for it. That's okay. 23 to 22 workers. Third base, first blood here by Woossak, unless he doesn't, which maybe he won't. Maybe he won't. Lings get in, get a drone kill. No, do not get a drone kill. They wanted a drone kill. Couldn't quite pull it off, unfortunately. Queen's Nest getting fired up, friends. We've got another hatchery coming up at the natural base, macro hatching. This is why we're here. Is it for a hive, or did he make this for ensnare? Did he just think about, okay, I can ensnare the enemy mutalisks, it slows their attack rate, it slows their move speed, it pins them basically, and I can take them down if they can attack more slowly than I can. So both players have a Carapace upgrade, and Woossak's working on his +2. Good on him, man. Big fan. No, he goes right into HIVE. This was not for Queens with Ensnare. This was getting into HIVE. Action is the one who starts the arms race to get into HIVE tech. Third base coming in. Scourge scouting it, recognizing also the giant Mutaflock that's defending it. Cool, cool. Awesome. Is Action going to get a third base? There's a Birdling there. Of course you're not. Of course you're not. That totally sucks. That is possibly the worst. Possibly the worst. But hey, as long as we have a second, quick plug for twitch.tv/Falcon Paladin. Guess what? I'm streaming out there 5-6 times a week these days. Since I lost my job last September, and I've been trying to make a go as a full-time streamer. So follow me on Twitch. Also out here, I'm streaming on the YouTubes. So be sure to watch for live stream announcements. I'm doing professional replays and live games with viewers like you. You want to play StarCraft live on the Falcon stream? You can. Just come hang out. See when we're doing one. Go to US West BattleNet. Make an account. You can do it. It's really fun. Earn channel points out on Twitch called Falcon Chips. You can earn them by watching the stream. Easy to do. You can bet on games. Greater Spire coming up. And earn more Falcon Chips. Extremely entertaining. So, yeah, we're going to make Devourers. This is awesome. Oh, I'm so excited for this. Action's getting Devourers on 2 bases in a ZVZ. He's behind on the Mutalisk arms race. He knows he is. It's 75 to 98 army supply. Or total supply. Guess what this is? It's mutas. He's behind on upgrades. He knows it. He needs some debuffs, baby. And guess what? When your debuff does splash, Mutalisks are a great target for said Acid Spore debuff. Takes a while to get a Greater Spire. As we can see, it's not the fastest upgrade of all time. We'll get there fairly soon, though, I guess, at the end of the day. Make some Devourers. Get some Acid Spore on the enemy Mutalisks. profit. That's what Action's trying to do here. Scourge, cheap scout, get around. Is he making a hive? No, perfect. Perfection. He just thinks he can win with all of the Mutalisks ever in the history of Zerg kind. And he's up, man. 106 to 82 supply. This, I mean, at some point, you kind of just want to go with the Mutas, but at the same time, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 spores in the main base here of Action. I think there are 5 at the second base of Action. Lings, get a good scout on that. Get a good scout over here to see how many spores there are. That's all he needs to do. Just see. And he sees the hive as well, so that's pretty good. Devourers. Ah, they are here with 4 more in production. Dude, this is going to be... It's going to be like a almost full control group of Devourers. I kind of love it. Holy haralabob. This is insane. Look at this. Look at this. 2 more on the way. Man, the remaster for the Devourers really did them favors. I think they look really good. We don't get these a lot in StarCraft. They're not very useful in most matchups. But in late game ZVZ, that might be where they're the most useful. So we send those out in front because they can take some Scourge hits. And here we go. Scourge connecting. And trying to micro a little bit. All right. Spores big time. Here comes l'engagement. L'engagement pour les Zerg. Just kidding. We're going home. That didn't go as well for us as we wanted, says Action. Also, finally gets to third base, brings an Overlord down, kills the burrowed Ling, gets to third base rockin', but the enemy's been on 3 gas for a while. So, he knows they're Devourers. He knows they popped over there. They didn't get any attacks off. Nothing has been Acid Spored. Hard to tell, though, because the Mutas are purple, and the Acid Spore is also purple, so it's going to be tough to see sometimes. He decides, okay, let's make a Queen's Nest. Let's get some spores up. We're going to take this seriously, as you probably should. And a Defiler Mound. Oh, Action. Action. You know how to make us happy. You know what to do to make us Zerg players happy. Is make a Defiler Mound and a Greater Spire and a ZVZ on Dominator here. I love the burrowed Lings at every one of these bases along the bottom side of the map, just in case a ninja were to happen. Woossak would know about it. Consume's coming in, obviously. Plague has got to be the next research thing. Dark Swarm actually is kind of goated here, right? If you make a bunch of Lings and you Dark Swarm a base, and Woossak doesn't have any Lings, the base is going to die. Sunkens, no. Mutas, no. There's nothing he can do about it. Dude, this could be incredible. This could be incredible for Action. Okay, Hive on the way here from Woossak at 18 minutes. And Woossak decides to go for it. Ah, the Acid Spores are here. The debuffs are real. Action still doesn't... He sort of wants to engage. Guy loses every Devourer, except this one that Scourge are chasing and do take down. That hurts. So we've got Acid Gooped Mutalisks here. They have 7 Acid Spores. 7 on that one, but it's still too many for Action to deal with. So his third base, he has to abandon it. He has to sack it. Plague's on the way from Action. Ling's on the counterattack by Action. We're like, wait a second. You don't have any, like, ground, do you? Oh, you just made a bunch of Lings. Never mind. Okay, cool. Do we have upgrades for these guys? No. Why would we get upgrades for our Zerglings? Dumb. Although, that's an Adrenal upgrade coming in from Woossak. It's exciting. A Carapace upgrade for his Lings, too. Getting his own Greater Spire. Action has the tech he needs, did a bunch of debuffing, but he didn't have enough Mutas to jump on that, nor did he have the Plague required that he would feel comfortable jumping on those enemy Mutalisks, and lost his third base. He's got a Macro Hatch and a Hydra Den coming up. Dark Swarm Hydra might be good unless your enemy has a bunch of Cracklings. This is tough. This is some tough stuff here from Action. This Woossak dude, I don't know who he is, but he's got 300 APM. He's obviously pretty good at ZVZ. He's kind of behind what Action's doing, but he's up 146 to 97 supply. So sometimes just having more stuff can overcome a massive, massive disadvantage in your overall supply number in a mirror matchup. It's tricky, and most of the time that doesn't work. But in this situation, yeah, just had enough mutas. The Acid Spore was there, but not enough. Insane. Third base coming in from action. Defilers always wiggling. They never stop moving. They must, like, they honestly must have pretty good cardio regimens. Oh, swinging in. Plague Dark Swarm! Ooh, Plague mutas take so long to regain their HP. Did any... I don't think any of those Defilers survived that. They got a nice Plague off. Uh-oh. Jumping in. Oh, obliteration! Immediate death. But there are still more Mutalisks. Hang on a second. +2 Carapace versus +2 Carapace. That seems to be the max they're going for here is +2 air Carapace, and that is it. No attacks, no +3. Dark Swarm is up. Come on in, we'll plague you. Another great plague on a group of 10 mutas. Dang, so another group comes in that says, we'll take your place, I guess. Lings jumping in. Yes, Adrenal versus Adrenal Lings. Sunken's getting sniped out. How often do you see Adrenal versus Adrenal? This one guy inside this mineral line is going to wreak havoc. He's going to kill this Hydralisk. He totally killed this Hydralisk. Yeah, Cracklings against Hydras are actually pretty good. Just because Hydras are glass cannons. They don't have a lot of HP. The Lings will eat through them pretty quickly, especially if they have a Carapace upgrade, which, by the way, they do have a Carapace upgrade and a +1 attack at that. So, Hydralisk's on the way from our Zerg player, Woossak. Action going to try to get a 4th base up before... Oh, tried to kill that drone before he got revealed. He knew what was happening there. And he tried to delay this base as long as he could. Not a bad idea. Couldn't quite pull it off, though. Metasynaptic nodes on the way. Guardians, another plague! Great plague on a huge group of mutas. And they just can't engage anymore. They can't. I love the random lurkers. Yeah, look, if you got Ling versus Ling, lurkers are going to be great. Problem is, the mutaflock is big and intimidating. And that's how you deal with lurkers. It's with Mutalisks. Not a problem. This is good from action, dude. He is only down about 30 supply now. 25? Huh? Huh? It's got a million Mutalisks recuperating back here at the 3rd base for Woossak. Takes forever to regen. What's funny is that in StarCraft 2, there is a tissue regeneration ability mutas have when they're out of combat. Their HP regenerates pretty quickly. Like, substantially faster than it does normally. And way faster than this. So, it's nice. It's really nice for Mutalisk players. Not that we see a lot of mutas in StarCraft 2. But, you know, they can regen their HP out of combat pretty amazingly. Action Lings jumping into the Dark Swarm. Did he bring his own lurkers, or is that a lurker? I think that's his own lurker. Weird stuff, dude. A couple Lings from Woossak get into the natural base, try to kill some drones, but there is air support overhead. Everything's fine. Nope, that lurker does actually belong to the guy that has the lurker aspect. I don't think Action actually has lurker aspect. He's got a Hydra Den, but I think it's too new. And he hasn't really invested in lurkers at all. So good. 4th base, awesome. Here from Action. We saw that coming up. It is providing dividends now. Dude, freaking Chitin is plating at an Ultralisk Cavern. In a ZVZ, are you kidding me? Ah, the Cracklings found the 4th. Son of a gun. Quickly defend it. Quickly reinforcing Lings show up, and there actually wasn't too bad at the end of the day. Ling's trying to roll into the natural base by Woossak into Action. No, says Action. Definitely not. 4th base coming up the right side. 24 minutes of this Hive tech level ZVZ. We have Devourer attacks. We've had Plagues. We have had Lurkers running around and Dark Swarms getting popped. We're getting Ultralisks at some point. The thing about Ultras is that they can't defend themselves against Mutas, but Mutas don't do very well against full armor Chitinous plating Ultras because of their only 9 damage per attack, and it takes a while to get through all that armor. Oh, a couple of the Guardians defending this attempt at a 4th base. I like it. Guardians guarding the 4th. doing what they're supposed to do. Can they kill the Lings fast enough to save it? The answer is no. That's a kill hatch. Just run the Lings in. That's all you gotta do. This is just Dark Swarm to save himself. Consumes the Ling. Hangs out for a minute. I'm not sure what his plan is, but Guardians. They can't run. This reminds me of the Guardians only free-for-all that we did on the YouTube stream a couple weeks ago. Again, dual streaming to Twitch and YouTube, but anyway, I figured out a way with Savior Sword, one of my viewers, to make it so you can only make Guardians in a ZVZ, and yep, it was chaotic. Humongous plague! Humongous plague, and again, these guys, I feel like some of them just got back up to decent, got up to decent HP. Not anymore, they're not. See you later, alligators. Ooh, a counter plague, though. Okay, you ever heard the sound of 100 Mutalisks dying at the same time? That's what that sound was. Ooh, so it's 128 to 98 supply now in favor of action. He's been down for most of the game, but he just wiped out the entire Mutaflock for Woossak. Not great. He's got a Devourer over here. He's got a bunch of Hydralisks. Who's giving them upgrades? No. They've got a Carapace upgrade, but the Lings had those earlier. Here come the Ultralisks! Falcon cackling evilly to himself. It's because we have 5 armor Ultralisks running up. And what do we have to deal with it? Some 0 attack Hydralisks. That's all we got. There are Cracklings ready to... Oh. Alright. Ultras against Hydras in a ZVZ. What is this? Lurkers not really helpful here, I'm afraid. Lurkers in StarCraft 2 do bonus versus armored, but here in Brood War, they do not. They're not all that good against Ultras, although invisible stuff attacking an Ultra, or flying stuff attacking an Ultra is okay. There's the Dark Swarm, there's the Plague, but the counter Plague on the enemy Ultralisks is here! I don't even know what we're looking at here, man. It is Plagued Ultra versus Plagued Hydra. The Defilers are plagued, the Lurkers burrowing, gotta fall back. The Plague is intense. The poor Ultralisks are not happy with their HP. This guy is pretty happy with his, though. Gotta say. Bigger problem for Woossak here is that he's got a 4th base, but it doesn't have a gas at it. And Action's getting a 5th base down to the bottom left. So, Yep. This is chaos. This is a very, very rare experience where we get a 27-minute ZVZ at the high level featuring action. This might be the highest level ZVZ that goes into HIVE Tech I've ever cast and seen. We've done other stuff, like I said, SC Pro versus Gambler. That was not action. And Lenok versus Castro, also not action. I don't know. Lenok's pretty good. Castro's a really good Peruvian Zerg, but not... action. Anyway, the Ultras, this group not particularly plagued these guys. That's nice. Did we send the plagued ones back home to recuperate? Yes, we did. All of 60 hit points on that poor boy. Expanding again is action. He's got map control at this point pretty darn effectively. And he should be able to pull this off. It was a good opening from Woossak, right? Got that Muta count out. Forced action to do something other than make Mutalisks to handle him. And he did. So, Plague and counter Plague. Ultras running in from the backside. Trying to get a sandwich on these Hydralisks. Overlord trying to provide vision against these Lurkers. There we go. Lurkers getting popped out. Another massive Plague on the giant Ultra group of our guy Action. He's got to fall back again despite being at 170 supply to 84. In favor of his enemy. So this is one of those mirror matchups games where I'm like, boy, howdy. You can't feel bad for someone who gets plagued in a ZVZ because guess what? You have access to the same spell. When I cast PvPs, I'm like, Psystorm, huh? Well, don't feel too bad about your units eating a storm because you can do it too, and you do it all the time. So ZVZ, one of the few matches I've been able to cast where we get to see Plague used at all. in a ZVZ. Absolutely bananas. Banana pants. Where you do see ZVZs featuring Hive tech is a lot of the times in free-for-alls, which again, we do on the channel, on the live streams. So if that, if you like long ZVZs, maybe that's something to check out. Any attack upgrades for these Lings? Oh yeah, fully 3-3'd here. I mean, these are fully upgraded Ultras now. Look at these cows. Look how many there are. How many of them are plagued? Several. But, I don't know, maybe more of them are not plagued. This is okay. 4 more Ultralisks on the way from action. Yeah, Zerglings against Ultras basically get one shot. It's not great for the Lings. Oh, gosh. Another giant plague. Quick, kill the stuff before the plague hurts you. That's your only option. 193 to 94 supply. And I think action maybe denying a 5th base here for Woossak is all he's trying to do. But also he's kind of trapped in here. No, there's this other escape vector. That this is so many Ultras. You don't see this many Ultras even against Terran where they're the most popular. This is so many. Alright, counterattack. Woossak getting into the freaking 6th base of action. Lurkers burrowing in. Oh, did he get a plague off on these Lurkers? He did get a plague on the Lurkers. But not this one. That's okay. Dead anyway. Saving the base. This Lurker's annoying. He's got 4 kills, but overkill is 5 Ultras hacking you to death with their tusks. Sorry. Kaiser Blades is what they are. Look at this. Maxed out, and he's making 3 more Ultras to get to 200 supply. It's like, Ultralisks are unbeatable in this matchup. I don't know that I agree with that, but in this situation, where you're fighting mostly Zerglings and enemy Lurkers, yeah, you know what? Not bad. GG! Woossak taps out. And action is your winner. What? An absolutely crazy ZVZ. Epic tagged ZVZ. Epic tagged ZVZ. Wow. Absolutely crazy ZVZ. The greatest one I've ever seen, quite possibly. What a game. Thanks, RJB, for the replay. Check him out, man. YouTube.com/@RJB_TV. And Ultralisks. So many Ultralisks. We had Devourers. We had Guardians. We had Plague. We had Dark Swarm. We had a ton of Mutalisks getting plagued, getting hit with acid spores. Just so much stuff you will not see in a ZVZ again for a very, very long time. Very long time. I can't even... I am almost speechless here. This was so good. And yeah, great opening from Woossak. Forced action into doing stuff that he didn't want to do. And that's a great way to win a game of StarCraft. Not a bad idea. Oh. What a showing. I mean, we are just talking about one of the greatest showings of ZVZ we've ever seen ever from action here. So fun. Yeah, had to make spores to stay alive, but once he did that and he got up to what he wanted, it was a very, very fun game from there. So, GG. Woo! Tap that like button if you enjoyed that game. 158,000, 195,000 points in favor of action. Got outproduced by the enemy Zerg Woossak. But the outkill is massive and overcomes that discrepancy. Structures raised 6-3, negligible, and action with the outspend. For a long time, it was looking like Woossak would outspend action in this match, but I think that 4th base never really happening, and that 4th gas never really coming up from Woossak hurt him immensely. So that's a GG, and that's going to be it from me. So this has been Falcon Paladin, coming at ya with yet another edition of StarCraft Brood War Remastered. Go ahead, hit that like button, hit that subscribe if you like what you saw and what you heard today. You can also catch me on Twitter, Facebook, Patreon, and Twitch. I'm also at, these days, Blue Sky and TikTok and Instagram, all at /Falcon Paladin. And until next time, as always, thank you so much for watching, and you take care of yourself.